Welcome back to another edition of The Bader Show. I'm your host, Mark Bader. This is episode 466. And, man, we got a guy coming on today. He's on a hot streak, or he's just really good, and everybody's figuring it out. But it's recently just won the CKLV at 149 pounds. Jaxon Joy of Cornell. Jaxon, thanks for joining us today, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Cool. First question. What's your real name? Because Jaxon Joy just sounds like your pop singer name, your stage name. It was like David...
Yeah.
Nelson?
No, it's just Jaxon Joy, yeah.
Okay, cool. No, it's a cool name. It just kind of rings off the tongue. Jaxon Joy. So dig it.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I bet you do. All right, just kind of let's get to the beginning of it, right? Like, how'd you get introduced to wrestling? How old were you? Did you like it? Were you very good at first? Just kind of take us through, the early parts of your wrestling career.
Yeah, I've been wrestling since I was 5 years old. My dad wrestled in high school, so he just kind of put me into it when I was younger, and I think I always loved it from as long as I can remember. I remember at first I wasn't too great, but I started to see more success as I just did it year round. I started doing it year round in like youth, middle school, so I just found like a love for the sport from a young age.
Yeah. Some people like they start wrestling right away and they have a lot of success right away and they're like, I like this because I'm winning, right? But you said you didn't have a lot of success right away, but you did love it. And I've watched some interviews of you, and I hear that a lot. I just love wrestling. I love wrestling, so I'm like, I get it. This guy loves wrestling. That's great. Did you love it even when you weren't having success at the beginning? And if so, why?
I think so. I mean, I don't really know exactly what it was. I think when I was younger, it was just like the team aspect and just hanging out with my friends. But then I'd say once I got to when I got to middle school, I definitely started seeing more success, like not just at like tournament, like local tournaments, but like the bigger like middle school tournaments. And I think I just started to like the, obviously winning more was fun, but I think I just like the just a creative process, like learning. I just like to learn. So learning and wrestling was, I think, what grew my love for it.
Sure. Was there a time when you kind of your interest or love for it like spiked? Like when you're 5, you're just kind of doing it. Today, it's clear that you really love it. And like, was it just like a gradual thing, or was it like a tournament or a time in your life or something that you remember? You're like, wow, I love this.
Yeah, I think in middle school I started to wrestle to just get better. Like I always viewed wrestling as like just like there's a sport, like have fun with it. And then I'd say in middle school I really wanted to like see how good I could get at it, and that's when I started to spend a lot of time doing it, like going to school practice right after school and then driving straight from there to club practice. So I also had a wrestling room. I still have it, but I have a wrestling room back home in my loft of my garage. And I think it was around middle school and then like early part of high school where there was just guys from, all over the area, not just my school, that would come to train. And I think that also was a huge part in it. Just like building those friendships with kids and, just learning, having fun with them.
Yeah. And I read about this wrestling room you had in the loft and garage or at the house. Man, tell me how that came up. Whose idea was it? How did it come about? Was there like, yeah, it makes sense? No, it doesn't. How old were you?
Yeah. My dad, we just had the space above my garage. So I live in a log cabin, and the guy that built the cabin used the loft of the garage for like his like workshop area. So when we moved there, it was just an empty space. So I had just like started getting more involved in wrestling. And my dad threw a mat in there. And at first it just started with like a little section of a mat because I was really small. So it started with Chris Ernest, who was my drill partner growing up for my whole life. He wrestles now at Kent State. And me and him it would just started us two, and we would wrestle in there all the time. We would actually like pretend like we were the college guys at the time. So like we would
Awesome.
wrestle, be like, all right, I'm Jordan Burroughs, you're David Taylor, and we would like almost reenact their matches, and like it started as just like a just having fun. Honestly, we just like we would hang out. When we'd hang out, we would just wrestle. Like it was just like that. And then as we got older and bigger and more guys started to come, my dad like turned it into an entire room like it is today, like knocking down walls and buying more mats. But
I think that's awesome because, every third house in America has a basketball hoop in the driveway, right? And it's like, it's not like every time you grab a ball, you're trying to get better, right? You're just trying to have fun. And I feel like a lot of times when people go to a wrestling room, it's to have practice and work out and intentionally. But what you have is the basketball hoop in your yard, but it's a wrestling mat in your loft, right? And you guys could just hang out.
yeah,
And maybe we're trying to get better. Maybe we're just playing grab ass. Maybe we're just horsing around, right?
yeah, yeah. No, I would have like my birthday parties there. So like even like the kids that like my friends that didn't wrestle, like we would all just hang out up in my wrestling room, we'd play football or whatever it was. We would just hang out there, and it just grew into like you said, just like a place to have fun, not only to wrestle and get better, but just hangout spot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now the hangout spot, and we play like we're Taylor and Burroughs or whoever. But when you think of that, the other side, were there serious and intense workouts that took place up there? And I don't know about fist fights or chippy or just like intensity.
Yeah, I would say there was definitely some intense moments, and what's funny actually is my freshman year of high school, there was my bracket. I think like 4 or 5 of the placers ended up actually coming to my house to work out. So and like train together. So I actually like became close with kids from all over Ohio that just wanted to come train, and they would hear about the room from someone. It would go down the grapevine. So there was definitely a lot of guys in there that just wanted to get better, and we would there were days where we would scrap, and it would probably got intense at times, but just all just all love at the end of the day, just
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Well, it sounds like the perfect place to have fun, sharpen your wrestling skills, meet people that you would otherwise not. You're not going to hang out with the other state placers just to go to the movies, but now you have a reason to make friends with guys you otherwise wouldn't. So I think that's really cool. And yeah, very, very awesome experience. Now, now we're talking about style and development, or we will now. Where did your style come? How did you develop your style? And we can get into the cradles and all that, but just like, who are the influences on your wrestling style, your wrestling development?
Yeah, from a young age, my one of my first coaches, Mike Wanger and Clay Wanger, they were always huge on top wrestling, and um for most of the guys it was it was just like your traditional bars and stuff like that. But um like I said before, me and Chris Ernest kind of like grew up together and trained together, and we always took like a focus on the like leg riding aspect. So I mean, from the time I started learning how to like take a penetration shot, I was also learning how to ride legs, and so I think that's where that part comes from. But the rest of it is, I think I like I said, I love wrestling. I also just love to watch it. Like I watch probably every NCAA finals, every match that's been televised at NCAA since I started watching wrestling. But I think it's probably a collective of just everything I've seen. I also like watching like the foreign guys a lot, so just trying to pick up a bunch of things from them, and then playing around with it, like just play wrestling, just adding my little twist onto it. Yeah, just I don't know if there's one person I'd say in particular, just collective, a
Sure,
lot of matches
sure.
watched.
And man, we've seen your cradle on display. I'm like looking. I'm like, okay, it almost feels like jujitsu. You're like watching this match, and you're like, he's on top, he's trying for a cradle, but there's no way. And then it's like, his hands locked. Oh my God, his hands are locked. Where did this come from? And then I noticed you look like you're trying to do an arm, leg will be on, I think, the left side. You're working an arm bar on the right or something, right? You do like an arm bar to a cradle. Am I seeing this right? With the leg in? Sorry to give all your
Yeah, I
secrets
don't
away,
really
but it's on the
know
internet.
I don't know what the exact terminology would be. It's just like kind of just like fish the arm through and you know use my length to my advantage. But yeah, that was just like I said, just playing around, feeling things out. I used to get like a lot of cradles locked up in that kind of position, but everyone would just, or when I'd wrestle with bigger guys in the room, they would just break my lock. So I had to like figure out a way to do it where it was harder for them to break my lock. And I think it just, after playing around with it a bunch, I just felt that. And it works sometimes.
It does. Is that situation the kind of thing where like you're playing around, right? I'm sure you're making big adjustments or small adjustments. And is it like just one adjustment where you're like, oh, I did whatever, and now look, I can get this? Or is it just all a combination of little adjustments along the way?
Yeah, definitely just a bunch of little adjustments. And I think wrestling and trying it with like a bunch of different feels is also a part of it. Like if you wrestle the same guy every day with it, like, and you can get it on that one guy, like you're only going to feel that one uh, defense to it. So I think just wrestling like a bunch of guys and different sizes too. Like I remember in high school is when I figured out kind of how to hit that cradle. It was, I think the first time I ever tried it was wrestling with one of our like 175 pounders when I was like a 132, just like not live or anything, just sparring after practice. And he was obviously a lot stronger than me. So I had to figure out a way to cradle him without him breaking my lock. But I think that's actually where I first thought of it. Just like how can I turn him without him just squeezing me?
Yeah, that's fantastic. You seem like the kind of guy who thinks about wrestling a lot. Like when you're not
Yeah.
wrestling, do you think about wrestling and positions or stuff exactly what we're describing, and like almost work on it mentally?
Yeah, I definitely do. And it used to be a lot more because I think it could also be exhausting, just constantly thinking about wrestling. But since I've moved up to Cornell, it's like there's a lot more obviously going on in my life than just wrestling. So
Yeah.
wrestling isn't everything. So I think taking a little step away from that has been a huge part in my development. And yeah, but it is definitely on my mind a lot.
Yeah, well, and Ivy League school, like you got to use this brain power for books and studying and class and tests and stuff. I'm sure. So, but that'll keep you busy. Speaking of Cornell, though, tell me through the recruiting process a little bit. If you knew you wanted to go to Cornell, or if somewhere along the way there was a reason that drew you there.
Mhm. Yeah. At first there was like before I got recruited, there wasn't really like anywhere that I need to go here. I was kind of open from the start, and then um I ended up visiting Cornell was my last visit, and I actually had like strep throat on my visit. So like it was I was just kind of cooped up and on Julian Ramirez's couch for the entire time. So
Terrible.
but I still knew even with that this was a place for me. Just the coaches and just like observing the team as a whole. There's everyone was just so close and just treated me like I was one of them, and it was just unlike anything I'd seen from my other visits. So I knew right away that this is where I wanted to be.
Where were your other visits?
I took visits at UVA, NC State, Purdue, Oklahoma, and Cornell.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then I think it was the beginning of your senior year, or the first semester, I guess, beginning of the wrestling season that year. You wrestled in the Clarion Open, is that right? Did you
Yeah,
wrestle in the Clarion Open in high school? So
yeah, I
that's your
did.
first taste of a college event. What were your expectations coming into that event, being a high school or wrestling college guys?
Um, I was confident that I could do pretty well. At that point, I'd been training with Ian Miller a lot,
Yeah.
and he's coaching up at Western Reserve right now in Ohio. So I would make the drive over there, and he was very helpful for me my senior year and just, you know, getting to that next level from high school to college wrestling. So I was wrestling with him a lot, and he was just like he was very helpful. So I knew that I could hang with them, and obviously like I didn't end up winning the thing or anything like that, but
Yeah, you
it,
did well
it
though.
was it was fun. I definitely took a loss there, but it was fun.
Yeah. So I guess now going on to Ian Miller and wrestling with him because he said, I think you said something like he helped me make a jump or he helped me really get prepared for college.
Yeah.
What can you? Is that a mentality on the mat? Is that certain understanding certain positions? Like, or can you maybe quantify what you mean by exactly how he helped you get better mentally, physically, tactically, etc.
Yeah, I think just like I would just wrestle with him. So we would go. I would meet up with him, and a lot of days it was just like, you know, put on the shoes and spar for an hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes, and then maybe hit 10, 15 minutes of live. And at first it was like, you know, he's just messing me up every single day, and it's frustrating. And I'm pretty competitive too, so like I don't really care who I'm wrestling. Like I don't want to get messed up. So I was just, I think just it really pushed me to like figure out like how am I gonna wrestle this guy? Like, the hand fighting was different. Like it's different than wrestling like a high school kid. Obviously, like he's really good, multiple time All American. So it was like, how am I gonna hand fight him? Like how am I gonna keep him off my legs? I'm getting inside trip to my back every 5 seconds. Like, how do I stop this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a beast, man. Kind of should have been an NCAA finalist. I don't know if you remember all that
Yeah,
drama.
he should have
Yeah,
been.
real beautiful. But that's 10 or something. I don't know. It's a long time ago. So finish up high school. You finished wrestling with Ian, and then you took a gray shirt, right? Or you did the gap
Mhm.
year, and
Yeah.
man, I think you wrestled
Mhm.
like 30 matches, or you lost I think 29-1 or something like that. Same kind of question though. What was the biggest difference being in a college room and I don't know, 30 matches seems like a lot, but I guess you just love it, huh?
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, yeah, we went to a lot of just open tournaments, so getting like 4 to 5 matches. I guess that would add up to like 6 tournaments. So,
Yeah, probably.
um, spread out through a couple months. It didn't feel like too much on my body or anything. So it was good. I mean, I liked learning, getting those matches in, learned a lot. But in the room is definitely where I've faced like the most challenges, and like definitely made the most growth just from wrestling with. I mean, we have like some of the best guys in the world at every level in our room. So Yanni, Vito, Meyer, they're all Vince Cornello. They're all first guy here. Every one of them was just messing me up, and like I said with Ian, like I'm competitive. I don't like getting messed up, so I had to learn. Um, and I'm still getting work. I mean, Meyer kind of just beats me up every time we wrestle, but it's just a never-ending process of just wanting to get better and like hopefully close that gap each year. But
Sure.
yeah,
You know those guys that you mentioned, right? That I wrestle and maybe any of them. Like, do you ever remember a breakthrough? Whether it was this, I never touched his legs and I finally got my hands locked, or I finally got my first takedown, or I won an exchange, or I won. Was there ever a moment against any of those guys that you remember, like, hey, I got my ass kicked, but I got two takedowns, or something good happened.
yeah, yeah. No, there's definitely been times where in with those guys where I've like, maybe I won like a 1 minute go, and it's just not a whole match, but I got the takedown. I defended. Kept them from getting my legs, and I've definitely seen a lot of improvement from last year. And I don't know if there was one specific moment, but there there's definitely just an accumulation of things where maybe it's like, all right, I'm working this in the room, and then or maybe Yanni's like teaching me something in the room, and then like in the live go, I'm able to actually like hit it on him, and I'm like, all right, like that's working. Like if it worked on him, it could work on someone at the college level in my weight. So although like I'm still losing to them all the time, it's like those little improvements are seen often, and they're definitely what gives me a lot of confidence.
Excellent. I want to kind of switch gears and talk about the Pan Am. You wrestled in the Pan Am Championships down in Lima, Peru. I think this
Mhm.
last summer, right? Was it this
Yeah.
summer? Yeah. Had you been overseas before? What was the experience like with the wrestling and but just the broader experience too of traveling overseas with the team?
Yeah, that was my first time competing overseas. I got to go to Albania with Vito for as his training partner
Awesome.
the last World Championships. And so that was also a great experience, just getting to be the training partner, and then and just watching all those guys compete, and kind of just like fired me up. Like I want to do this too, and
Yeah.
making the like being on the Pan Am team was fun, and I definitely learned a lot. Like it didn't go how I wanted to. I ended up losing in the semis, but I think it was more just like a mental lesson than anything. I was just I was so focused on like, all right, I gotta win this tournament. Like I want to represent USA and get a gold, and I was so focused on just winning that like I kind of like lost the love of just wrestling and just the act of competing and scoring points. So I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself, and definitely something that I learned, and I'm trying to carry into the this regular season, like not focusing on winning or losing, just like just being grateful. Like I get to go wrestle at all these big tournaments, like Cliff Keen, like watching that when I was younger. Like I get to go wrestle here now, so I'm not gonna stress myself out about winning it. Just go and score, have fun, and the result should come with that.
You've had a lot of success. You've done a lot of winning. Is this the first time where you've experienced what you just described? Like, I'm just too focused on just trying to win instead of like actually wrestling.
Yeah, I think like this past freestyles whole season, I was really just like, I just really want, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. Like going to the U.S. Open, I put in a lot of work, and I thought I did everything I could to prepare, like living the right way, doing working out as much as I can, learn like just fully prepared, and I just was, I was too focused on just winning that like when the time came to compete, I was just so stressed out, and I wasn't just doing it, for the love of the sport that I have. And then same thing at World Team Trials, like just focusing on winning so much, it was just became more of like a I have to do this, not a I get to do this kind of mindset. So I think learning those lessons, and not just like, yeah, I learned it, like actually like believing it and applying it daily. Just I don't think about the tournament that I have coming up in 2 weeks right now. Like I'm just focusing on 3 p.m. practice and having fun, learning, trying to score on whoever I'm wrestling in the practice. So
When did it occur to you that, man, I just focused way too much on winning? Because today, months removed from it, you can look back and understand that. But you shake hands
yeah,
and you lose the match, and at that point, you probably haven't processed it all. And if you know the answer to this question, right? At what point did you look back and say, "Hey, maybe I approached this wrong"?
yeah, it was definitely after the Pan Am games. I went back and I like watched my matches, and just thinking back on the trip, I was just I was watching it, it just didn't look like myself out there. And I think just I after that, like obviously that was the end of the freestyle season for me. So I had a couple months before our season started, and I kind of came to that realization of just like I'm not I wasn't proud of the way I competed, and it was definitely avoidable because it's like not like I didn't prepare for the Pan Am games. Like I was training hard. I was doing the things that I thought I needed to do, but at the end of the day, I just kind of shot myself in the foot. But we all also meeting with Doc Shelley here, our sports mindset guy. He's the best, and just talking with him about it like really helped me make that like step. Like, okay, like I think this is the issue. Like, what do I do now to fix it?
Man, the sports psych stuff, I think it's super important, and I think that what's going on in here is as important, if not more, than what you do with your hands and legs and everything. So, and it's almost like maybe this lesson, if you want to call it that you learned, you've been able to apply it to like you're on fire. You're doing really well. You have a bunch of big wins. Would you say that's fair? You are approaching it in a new light and not worried so much about winning, and you're winning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I think right now I'm just having fun, like going back to just like the love I have for it. So just like not when you're not really focused on the outcome of something that's doesn't even happen for another 2 weeks, or like, and like long term, like if I sat here every day and just thought about the NCAA tournament and wanting to win that, I would drive myself crazy. So I think just every day is just like a great opportunity to just get better. And like I'm wrestling guys in the room right now that are you know have that like more accolades than anyone I'm gonna have to wrestle with at the NCAA tournament or at any of these tournaments. So like just I'd say that was a huge thing, and also kind of like a little aside from that is just realizing like wrestling isn't everything. Like I love wrestling, and it's what I spend most of my life doing, but it's not who I am as a person. Like wrestling isn't the end all be all. Like there's so much more to my life and than just wrestling. It's just a sport at the end of the day. So
It's easy to say, right? It's not as easy to do and believe, but you're right. And
yeah.
I think the attitude's great. At the start of this year, before you had any varsity matches, right, or any matches this year, was there an expectation? Or are you just like, I'm just gonna go out there and see where we go?
No, yeah, I mean there was expectations. I mean like I'm really competitive. Like I want to win. Like I want to score points. Like I know it's not like just talking about not focusing on it, but like when you go out there and compete, like your expectation should be to win the match no matter what. So I think that was obviously like my mindset, but the coaches here just their faith in me and just kind of just gave me confidence. Like they tell me all the time that I'm the best and that there's no one that works harder. So I mean I believe them. Obviously, I chose to come here because of them, and the work that they've put into me and just how much they do for me. Like there's nothing else I can do but just to believe what they're telling me and to follow it.
If we could go back a year and I could say, hey man, next year you're going to be undefeated at semester, ranked number 2, and none of those things really matter, but it says something about your accomplishment. Would that surprise you?
Um, Not really. I mean, I'd be pretty happy if you told me that a year ago, but um, I don't know. I think like even if you told me that I would have had some losses in the early part. I'd be like, all right, like whatever. Like you got to learn, But I think the important thing is that like even though I've had the early season success, that I'm not complacent, and regardless of it, like there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I still need to get a lot better to reach my goals. So I think it would be I would be happy, but I don't know if I'd be too surprised.
Okay, well that's great. And you've just got high
Yeah.
expectations for yourself. Um, okay, you won CKLV, which I'm sure you're happy about. But like, tell me, how do you feel like you wrestled throughout the tournament? How do you feel? How do you feel about your performance at CKLV?
Yeah, I think the first day, I definitely there's definitely a lot of things that I learned from that. I think I need to open up more, and I think I left points on the board in those two matches in that on that day. I mean, obviously, I wrestled great opponents that are very good at wrestling, but I think there's opportunities for me to score that I missed out on. So definitely a lot of areas on the first day that I noticed, and I'd say on the second day, I think I realized that after the first night, and I kind of went into the next day with more of a attitude of just like scoring and trying to get to my offense early and not just be like not coast with the win. Try to like light up the scoreboard. I think I did a better job on day two with that, but yeah, overall, there's definitely like a lot of room for improvement. So yeah, get back to work and just work on those areas.
Yeah, well, a lot of work, always room for improvement. A lot of good things happen that you could probably say,
Yeah,
"Wow,
a lot of
that's
good.
freaking great." Like, I'm guessing you didn't think you were going to tech Kaleb Larkin in the first period, even though you probably planned to beat him. Did that surprise you a little bit? First
Mhm.
period tech fall.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say it definitely surprised me a little bit. No, he's really good, and I like I respect him a lot. He's super creative, and watched him wrestle the earlier matches. Like I saw a video where he was talking about like he like likes Sativ a lot, and I think that's cool. I think the way he wrestled was very unique. So going into that match, I thought it was going to be you know a fun one. I mean, you don't wrestle anyone like him really ever. He's super unique. So I thought it was just going to be kind of a wild match, but obviously I was confident that I could get to my offense and score points.
It was wild, not in the sense of like it was 15-15, but, you know,
Yeah.
to do that, that was a different kind of wild. Um, so, and then I want to pull up the finals here, and we can kind of watch it and talk through it. We're not going to have any audio, but I don't know, thoughts coming out against Rivera of Princeton, and if you knew anything about him or how you felt, or if you had a game plan or anything you think or feeling or seeing right
Yeah,
now.
he had a really good tournament and knocked off a lot of good guys. So I was excited, and I knew it was going to be a fun match. It was CKLV finals, cool place to wrestle.
Yeah. Do you remember any CK? You said you used to watch CKLV all the time. Did you ever any finals from
Yeah.
back in the day stand out, or are they all kind of blend together?
Um, my favorite match was when Julian Ramirez got the first period tech fall. I think it was against Tanner Cook,
Okay.
and then he also, I think it was a separate year. He beat David Carr in the semis. So I think he was always wrestling very well at CKLV.
Yeah. And it's a great. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. That wasn't an accident, neither was it?
Huh?
That wasn't an accident.
No, I like that little shuck by.
Yeah. I watched another match where I either saw you do it or I saw you try it. So I was like, this is a thing. And now it's like, okay, I'm underneath Jaxon Joy. This sucks. Have you watched this match since? Or is this the first time?
No, I've watched. I watched all my matches the next morning just to like see what I could work on.
Sure. And I hear it's like I can already see you using your leg. You're using your legs like arms and your feet like hands to try to. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you got it. Now it's like I see you grab that leg and pull it with yours and slide the other one under there, and it's like, oh man, now
Hmm.
this is bad. And here we go, left arm. I said an arm bar. You said you hook it or lace it. What'd you say? But whatever. It's you grab it and kind of hook it and
Yeah, I kind of just like sneak it through there. I
sneak. Yeah, and then
think
like
it's like right around here.
you're watching. It's like I don't know what's going on. Nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, somebody's like, I think he's got a cradle locked up. Holy crap! It's got Cradle locked up. What is going on here? Just all fidgeting and adjusting? Whatever you want to call it?
Yep. Yeah, it's like, well, I just snake my arm through, like, so it's like a trap their arm a little bit so they can't, they don't have two hands then to fight my lock if I do it that way.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely weird.
Sneaky.
I don't know if I've seen I don't know if I've seen it done, but it's definitely helpful if you have long arms. I'll say that.
I'm sure. How did this feel, right? The pin, not only the pin, but winning this tournament. Like this is a big deal. It's a big tournament, right? Like, had to feel great.
Yeah, no, I was thrilled. I mean, I was confident I was gonna win the tournament, but I didn't really think about any like OW or anything like that. But so it was definitely cool to, you know, put on a good performance and just also wanting to be like entertaining. Like I don't want to be known for, you know, I don't want to be known as a boring wrestler. So I think just, you know, putting on a good performance like that in the finals was definitely exciting for me. Just getting to my stuff and scoring points, you know, hitting some moves that people may have not seen before too is definitely exciting.
Entertaining for sure. I guess how do you feel? But like, is this a boost of confidence? Like you thought you were so good, or you believe you're really good, but then when you go out and do it and perform, and maybe you exceeded your expectations, right? It's pins and tech falls. Is there a boost in confidence after a tournament like this?
Right. Yeah, I think like I said it in the one interview on the day of the tournament, but like in high school, like I feel like I've been working like pretty hard as far as I can since high school, and I've it's not like I've done anything like crazy different. Obviously, being here is the difference, but um I never really saw like the same results. Like I never won the Super 32, I never won Ironman or Fargo I never won the big tournament. So, but I always thought I could, and I always thought, you know, I was good enough to do so. So I think just, you know, having that same belief and actually, you know, going out and doing what I think I can do was a huge little boost of confidence because, you know, I feel like I've been right there this whole time, and I mean, like I said, I've come up short at all of them. So it finally felt good to, you know, win a big tournament.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. You know, I don't have Cornell's schedule in front of me, but is there, you know, looking ahead of the schedule, are there any things you're like, I can't wait for this duel or this tournament, or, you know, then we're in the conference and nationals, but yeah, I'm just curious if you're get your it's out on any for anybody or any events.
No, nothing too specific. I think Arizona State is actually coming up here to wrestle. So, you know, like wrestling Larkin again would definitely be fun.
Yeah.
So he's like I said, he's a really good wrestler. So any chance I can to wrestle a guy like that is gonna be a fun match. And also obviously the easy answer NCAAs is gonna be fun. It's also in Cleveland this year, which is right in my backyard. So it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, you know, there'll be a lot of people there that I know, and yeah, I'm just excited to wrestle at the biggest tournament there is in
Sure.
wrestling.
Have you attended have you attended the NCAAs before?
Yeah, my first time going was last year. I was at Cleveland, so that was my first time going, and then I went last year for every session to
Yeah.
watch the Cornell guys. But yeah, no, I've watched like I said before, like this is my Super Bowl. So when I was a kid, just I mean, we would do pick 'em and like, you know, 10 confidence points on Gable to win, you know, all these things, 9 confidence on Spencer Lee. But there's so many memories I have with the NCAA tournament. So getting to wrestle in it now is going to be, you know, dream come true.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Okay. Well,
you know, I got to make it there first, but
and we expect you to, and I know you expect yourself to, but that's true. You do have to still make it. Okay. You like the wrestling? I got a little game I call Sweat It Out. It's 5 trivia questions.
yeah.
And
All right.
so, you ready? All right. Question number one.
I'm nervous now, but I think I'm ready.
That's good. That's what I want. I'll get you on. Come on. Cornell has 4 two-time NCAA champs who only won 2 titles. Can you name 3 of them?
Vito, Gabe Dean, and Nashon. Or was Nashon one? Nashon was only one. Travis Lee.
Boom. You got it. The other one was Dave. You want to try the other one?
Dave Abel.
Okay. I gave you half of that, but you got it. You got it. All right. You're 1 for 1. Wrestling question, of course. Who was the first 4-time state champion from New Jersey?
Mike Gray.
Yeah. 2 for 2.
The Delbarton GOAT.
I should have made this tougher. You just told me you were there, but no, how many Cornell wrestlers were NCAA All-Americans last year?
Last year we had Meyer, Simon, and Foka.
What's your answer?
3.
All right, you got it. Okay, a little bit more obscure. Can you name the Olympic gold medalist from Cornell? I didn't even know this was a thing. They had one until I was digging around today.
Olympic gold medalist from Cornell. I feel like an idiot.
I mean, I've been doing this job forever, and I didn't know they had a gold medalist.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't Dake. I have no idea.
It was 100 years before Dake.
Okay, yeah.
1920. Charles Ackerley won gold at 54 kilograms.
Wow.
I think
he
wrestled another American for the gold medal match. I think it was a little different back then. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think even like the way back in like the early 1900s, I think it was like only Americans. I could be wrong about that, but obviously the Olympics has evolved in the last 100 years. Yeah. Okay, so you are 3 for 4. We got one question left. You're from Wadsworth, Ohio. You currently live in Ithaca, New York. Neither is a very big town.
Right.
Which population is bigger, Wadsworth, Ohio, or Ithaca, New York?
I think it's got to be Ithaca.
You are correct. Ithaca, New York has just has 33,000. Wadsworth has 24,000 and change. That's it.
Boom.
4 for 5. Jaxon Joy. Was that all right?
I'll take that. That's passing.
All right. Two more.
Passing grade. I'll take it.
Yep. 2 more. All
right.
These are just little things for you to tell me. Jaxon Joy, who's your all-time favorite wrestler?
Takeru Odaguro.
Okay. And why?
Yeah. I just love watching him wrestle. I mean, I don't really wrestle like him, so it's not like I'm hitting his techniques, but I've probably watched like every single one of his matches twice over, but he's just always been my favorite.
Okay. That's totally fair. Last one. I call this wins and whoopins. So from your first match ever till the one you just wrestled, any match, and you can give any reason for these answers. Mm-hmm. One win that stands out as memorable can be like whatever, something from this weekend, or it can be like a match from 3rd grade where you beat the kid who used to always beat you. Or any reason a win stands out, and then one ass whooping. We've all gotten beat up to where we walked off the mat and like, I don't even know how to wrestle. Right? One win and one whooping. You can do either one first.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll do the one win first. This one's easy for me.
All right.
I think I want to say it was 4th grade or 5th grade. 5th grade. I won my first ever youth state title against Javon Yarbrough, who if you've known me and Javon, you know we've wrestled every tournament. We would train together, and our dads would send us to the same tournament. We'd wrestle same weight class, wrestle in the finals every single weekend, and he would beat me every single time. I was probably like 0-20 some against him.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I get one win against my districts. Nothing happens again. I start losing again after that. The next year, pin him in the state finals with the bottom leg Cradle. Happiest I've probably ever been in my life. But I think that one definitely stands out for me. And
That's
then
awesome.
one whooping. My freshman year in the state finals, I was winning with about like 15, 20 seconds left, and I got chin whipped from top to lose the match.
Oh,
And if I would have just, maybe held on, maybe let him go and,
oh.
run around the circle for 10 seconds, I would have been a 4-time state champ. So that one definitely stings a little bit still, but I think maybe I needed that. Maybe I needed to lose that match to get to where I am today. But
Yeah. You were on top and he reached back and chin whipped you?
yeah, yep. It was impressive. Yeah.
Well, at least you could look back today and have a little chuckle at it, I suppose. But all right, man, this is great. I know you got practice coming up in less than 5 minutes, so I will just give you the last word, Jaxon. Say anything you want to say about anything.
Yeah. I don't know if I got anything. I think just thanks for having me, guys. It was fun. Yeah. Go Big Red.
That's it. That's perfect, man. Jaxon,
Yep.
appreciate you coming on today, sharing your story with us. Really fun to watch you wrestle, and yeah, excited to see the rest of the season and everything else unfold for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right,
It's
you bet,
fun.
man. Yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, folks, Jaxon Joy, he's been tearing it up. He's number 2 at 149, and that's it for today's show. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.